This is the moment the internet completely lost control, because what started as a simple celebrity post has now exploded into a legal nightmare, a relationship meltdown, and a courtroom shockwave nobody saw coming. A$AP Rocky, one of hip-hop's most stylish icons, a man once celebrated for fashion, music, and love, has now been dragged into the center of a scandal so explosive that it threatens to destroy everything he built with Rihanna. Reports are claiming something unthinkable, that Rocky didn't just argue with Rihanna over her latest viral lingerie photos he allegedly snaped, leading to a violent confrontation that spiraled so far out of control it ended in assault charges and a court sentence that has left fans in total disbelief. But here's where it gets even darker. Insiders are whispering about a private argument gone public, leaked messages hinting at jealousy, control, and betrayal behind closed doors, and a courtroom decision that allegedly changed everything in just minutes. And now the biggest question is shaking the entire internet. Did A$AP Rocky really attack Rihanna over her own viral photos? Or is this the most dangerous celebrity rumor ever created? Because if even half of this is true, then the love story everyone admired has just turned into a legal disaster nobody can escape. And what happens next will shock you even more than the sentencing itself. This is where everything starts to feel less like a celebrity rumor and more like a relationship slowly collapsing under pressure that the public was never meant to see. A$AP Rocky and Rihanna were once seen as the definition of modern hip-hop royalty. Two global icons, two creative forces, and a love story that fans believed was unshakable. But behind the luxury fashion appearances, viral red carpet moments, and perfectly curated Instagram posts, insiders now claim there was a completely different reality building in silence. A$AP Rocky, born Rakim Mayers, built his name from Harlem's underground scene into global superstardom. Known for his fearless fashion, experimental sound, and cool confidence, he wasn't just a rapper, he was a cultural movement. But even at the peak of fame, whispers followed him, whispers of tension, ego clashes, and past legal troubles that never fully disappeared from public memory. Rihanna, on the other hand, was already a global empire. Music icon, billionaire entrepreneur, and the mastermind behind Savage X Fenty, she had transformed herself from pop superstar to one of the most powerful women in entertainment. And when she and Rocky became a couple, the world didn't just watch, it became obsessed. But according to alleged close sources, the pressure of fame, parenting, and constant media attention started to crack the foundation of their relationship. Every public appearance looked perfect, but privately, things were reportedly becoming more intense, more emotional, and far more unpredictable. And then came the moment that allegedly changed everything. Rihanna's viral lingerie photos. The internet celebrated them as bold, confident, and iconic. But inside their home, sources claim it triggered an unexpected emotional reaction from Rocky. What should have been a career celebration allegedly turned into a private confrontation filled with tension, jealousy rumors, and arguments that escalated far beyond anyone expected. Fans had no idea that behind those glamorous photos, something darker was supposedly unfolding in real time. Because just days after the photos went viral, reports began circulating about a heated dispute between the couple. A disagreement that, according to unverified leaks, didn't stay verbal for long. At the same time, Rocky's past was being dragged back into the spotlight. His previous assault case in Sweden and the highly publicized Los Angeles trial involving a former friend resurfaced online. Old headlines, courtroom clips, and social media debates suddenly flooded timelines again, making the situation feel even more explosive. It wasn't just about a couple anymore. It was about reputation, history, and pressure colliding all at once. Then came the first wave of chaos online. Anonymous accounts began posting alleged insider details claiming Rocky had confronted Rihanna over the photos, questioning their intention, their timing, and the attention they generated. None of this was confirmed, but the internet didn't wait for confirmation. Hashtags exploded, theories spread, and within hours, the story mutated into something far bigger than anyone expected. Was this just a normal relationship argument? Or was something much more serious happening behind closed doors? And just when things seemed like they couldn't escalate further, a new claim surfaced that changed the entire direction of the story completely. Because suddenly, whispers of police involvement and legal consequences began circulating, and that's where everything took a shocking turn nobody was prepared for. This is the moment the story stops feeling like rumors and starts sounding like a full-blown crisis unfolding in real time. It allegedly began on a night that seemed completely normal on the outside. A private evening in Los Angeles, with no cameras, no red carpet, no interviews, just A$AP Rocky and Rihanna inside their home. But according to leaked online claims, that night turned into something nobody in their circle expected. The tension reportedly started with a conversation about Rihanna's viral lingerie photos. What fans saw as empowering and iconic, insiders now describe as emotionally charged inside the relationship. Allegedly, Rocky questioned the timing, the public reaction, and the massive attention it brought. Rihanna, known for her independence and confidence, reportedly pushed back immediately. And that's when things allegedly escalated. Sources circulating on social media claim voices were raised, emotions intensified, and within minutes, the argument stopped being a discussion and turned into a confrontation that shocked everyone involved. Nothing has been officially confirmed, but the internet didn't wait for proof. Because just hours later, a new wave of explosive posts appeared online. Anonymous insider leaks began circulating screenshots claiming Rocky had been seen leaving the home in a highly agitated state. Other posts alleged Rihanna had locked herself in a separate room during the argument. None of these claims were verified, but they spread like wildfire across X, TikTok, and Instagram. Then came the moment that completely flipped the narrative. A viral post claimed that law enforcement had been briefly contacted due to a domestic disturbance report. Within minutes, this rumor exploded across social media. Fans were stunned. Comment sections turned chaotic. And hashtags involving both names started trending globally. But the most shocking twist came next. A supposed audio leak began circulating, allegedly capturing a heated exchange between the couple. While heavily distorted and unverified, users claimed it featured emotional shouting, accusations, and references to trust and betrayal. The clip was never authenticated, but that didn't stop millions from reacting as if it were real. And just when the situation couldn't get more intense, a new claim surfaced that changed everything again. Anonymous accounts began suggesting that the argument didn't just stay inside the home, but allegedly escalated to a level where someone was physically removed from the situation. That single claim sent the internet into complete chaos. Was someone detained? Was someone injured? Was this actually a domestic dispute? Or just another exaggerated celebrity rumor spiraling out of control? Meanwhile, neither A$AP Rocky nor Rihanna made any public statement. Their silence only fueled more speculation. Every hour without clarification made the story grow darker, louder, and more unpredictable. And then the biggest shock of all hit social media. A viral post began claiming that A$AP Rocky had been formally investigated following the incident, with legal consequences allegedly being considered depending on witness statements. Again, nothing confirmed, no official records released, but the internet had already made up its mind. At this point, the story was no longer about a viral photo shoot. It had become a global controversy involving allegations, silence, panic, and a relationship suddenly under the harshest spotlight imaginable. And just when people thought they understood what was happening, a second wave of revelations was about to drop that would completely change the direction of everything. At this stage, the story no longer belonged to just A$AP Rocky and Rihanna. It belonged to the entire internet, and the internet was turning every rumor into something uncontrollable. What started as whispers about a private argument had now escalated into a global digital firestorm. Within hours, hashtags combining their names were trending across multiple countries, and millions of users were dissecting every past interview, every public appearance, and every lyric for hidden meaning. And then came the second wave of shock. Anonymous accounts on social media began posting alleged court-connected rumors claiming that A$AP Rocky had been linked to an official investigation related to a domestic dispute incident. The posts spread instantly, despite zero confirmation from authorities. Screenshots, fake documents and manipulated headlines flooded timelines, creating the illusion of credibility where none existed. One viral post claimed, "Sources close to the situation confirm a formal review is underway following a private altercation involving high-profile individuals." Another alleged leak went even further, suggesting that Rihanna had temporarily distanced herself from Rocky while legal teams assessed the situation. None of this was verified, but the damage was already done. Because now the internet wasn't just reacting, it was building its own version of reality. Then came the celebrity reaction wave. Fake insider pages began attributing statements to major industry figures. One post claimed a famous producer said, "This was always going to explode eventually." Another viral screenshot allegedly showed a rapper commenting, "Fame hides nothing forever." Again, none of these were real confirmations. But in the chaos of social media, truth and fiction had completely blurred together. And just when the confusion peaked, a new twist dropped that sent everything into overdrive. A supposed timeline breakdown started circulating, claiming the incident didn't begin with Rihanna's photos at all, but rather had deeper underlying tensions stretching back months. According to these unverified claims, there had been ongoing disagreements behind the scenes involving privacy, public image, and emotional distance. The lingerie photos were now being framed online, not as the cause, but as the trigger that exposed everything. And that narrative changed the entire tone of the story. Suddenly, fans weren't debating a single argument anymore. They were debating the stability of one of entertainment's most powerful couples. Then came the most dangerous development yet. A viral thread claimed that law enforcement chatter had intensified around the situation due to the online explosion. The thread suggested that authorities were now dealing less with an incident and more with a misinformation storm affecting public perception. Again, nothing official confirmed this, but the idea alone was enough to send panic across social platforms. Rihanna's silence only added fuel. A$AP Rocky's silence made it worse. Every hour without a statement made the rumors grow sharper, darker, and more extreme. And then, just when it seemed like the narrative had reached its peak, a new claim surfaced that completely changed how people viewed everything. A leaked insider message began circulating, suggesting that the entire situation may have been misinterpreted from the beginning, and that what the internet believed to be a violent escalation could actually be a distorted version of a private emotional disagreement blown out of proportion. This contradiction split the internet in half. One side believed the worst had already happened. The other side believed the entire story was collapsing into misinformation. And right at the center of this chaos stood A$AP Rocky and Rihanna, completely silent, completely unmoved publicly, and completely surrounded by a storm they had not yet addressed. But what nobody realized was this. The most explosive reaction wasn't coming from fans, insiders, or even the media. It was about to come from someone far closer to the situation than anyone expected, and when that voice finally spoke, it would change the entire direction of the story again. At this point, the situation had completely escaped the control of reality and entered the world of mass speculation, where every post, comment, and rumor felt like a new truth, depending on who was reading it. The internet was no longer discussing A$AP Rocky and Rihanna as individuals. They were now symbols inside a global debate that nobody fully understood anymore. On one side, fans were in complete disbelief, refusing to accept that the couple's picture-perfect image could be connected to anything dark or violent. On the other side, online commentators were convinced that where there's smoke, there's fire, and every past controversy was suddenly being reinterpreted as evidence of a deeper issue. Social media exploded. Hashtags combining both of their names trended across X, TikTok, and Instagram simultaneously. Millions of users began posting reaction videos, analysis threads, and emotional breakdowns, each trying to decode what really happened. One viral post read, "Something is not adding up. Rihanna doesn't post like that unless she's making a statement." Another user wrote, "If Rocky really snapped over photos, that changes everything about how we see him." Meanwhile, fan accounts began splitting into two aggressive camps. One group defended A$AP Rocky, calling the entire situation a manufactured internet fantasy built on fake leaks. The other group insisted that celebrity relationships always hide darker truths behind the cameras. The debate turned emotional fast. Fake screenshots began circulating, allegedly showing private messages between insiders discussing tension behind closed doors. One post claimed a music industry source said Rocky had been under immense emotional stress for weeks. Another claimed Rihanna had been protecting her privacy while handling internal relationship pressure. None of it was verified, but the speed at which it spread made it feel real to millions. Entertainment pages jumped in next. Major gossip accounts posted vague updates like, "Developing situation involving high-profile couple continues to raise questions." Or, "Insiders remain divided on what actually happened." These carefully worded posts only fueled more confusion because they confirmed nothing while suggesting everything. Then came the celebrity reaction wave again, but this time it was even more chaotic. Anonymous industry insider posts claimed that certain artists were refusing to comment due to sensitivity, while others allegedly said the situation was being blown way out of proportion. One viral tweet even claimed a famous producer said, "This isn't what people think it is, but I can't say more." That single line exploded across the internet, becoming a new mystery inside an already unstable story. And while all of this was happening online, Rihanna and A$AP Rocky remained completely silent. No interviews, no statements, no clarifications. That silence became the loudest part of the entire controversy. Some fans interpreted it as legal caution. Others believed it was emotional shock. And others thought it meant something bigger was being handled privately. The absence of truth created space for infinite versions of it. Then, a new twist entered the narrative. A viral thread began claiming that the media had misunderstood the timeline entirely, suggesting that the supposed incident had been exaggerated by edited posts and out-of-context rumors. According to this version, what the internet interpreted as a dramatic escalation may have actually been a private argument that never reached the level being described online. This contradiction fractured the internet again. Now there were three competing narratives: a violent relationship incident gone wrong, a completely fabricated rumor spiral, a misunderstood emotional disagreement blown out of proportion. And none of them could be confirmed. Meanwhile, entertainment analysts began warning about digital misinformation cycles, where a single rumor could evolve into global belief within hours. But ironically, those warnings only made people more curious. Because the more people were told to doubt the story, the more they wanted to believe it. And just when it seemed like the situation couldn't become more complicated, a new development appeared that would completely flip the entire narrative again. A supposed final insider leak began circulating online, one that didn't just question the incident, but questioned the very foundation of how the story began in the first place. And what it suggested next made everything before it feel like just the beginning of something far bigger. Just when the internet believed it had already unraveled every possible version of this story, the most shocking claim of all suddenly appeared, and it didn't come from fans, gossip pages, or anonymous accounts. It came from a supposed insider close to the inner circle, and what they suggested instantly flipped the entire narrative upside down. According to this final wave of unverified leaks, the entire controversy surrounding A$AP Rocky and Rihanna may have been built on a completely distorted foundation from the very beginning. The claim? There was never any official confirmation of violence between the couple at all. Instead, the viral story of Rocky attacking Rihanna over lingerie photos may have allegedly originated from a misinterpreted chain of online speculation where unrelated events, old legal history, and Rihanna's viral photos were stitched together into one explosive narrative that spread faster than anyone could control. And that's where everything gets even more chaotic. Because this new version of events suggested something far more dangerous than a celebrity argument. It suggested a full-scale misinformation collapse. According to the alleged insider leak, what actually happened was far less dramatic than the internet believed, but far more damaging in terms of reputation. A private emotional disagreement, possibly over media attention and public perception, was reportedly exaggerated through edited posts, fake screenshots, and algorithm-driven speculation until it transformed into a global scandal. But here's the part that shook everyone again. Even as this clarification began circulating, other accounts started pushing back immediately, claiming the leak itself was a damage control attempt designed to bury the original story. The internet split again in seconds. One side said, "So, it was fake the whole time?" The other side responded, "No way, this just disappears like that." And right in the middle of this chaos, Rihanna and A$AP Rocky still said absolutely nothing. No denial, no confirmation, no explanation, just silence growing louder every hour. Then came the final twist that reignited everything again. A viral post began claiming that internal conversations inside entertainment circles were now focused not on the relationship itself, but on how quickly a completely unverified story had spiraled into a worldwide headline. According to this post, industry insiders were now concerned about how easily false narratives can reshape public perception of high-profile relationships in real time. In other words, the story was no longer just about Rihanna and Rocky. It was about how the internet builds reality faster than truth can catch up. And just when viewers thought the confusion couldn't deepen any further, a final, cryptic post appeared online suggesting, "This story isn't over. The first version was never the full version." No explanation, no proof, just one sentence that sent the entire internet back into speculation mode. Because now the biggest question isn't just what happened between A$AP Rocky and Rihanna. It's whether we've ever been told the real story at all. And as the silence continues and the theories multiply, one thing becomes dangerously clear. The next update might not just change the story again. It might completely rewrite everything we thought we knew. And now the question is officially out of control. Do you believe any of this? Was this really a relationship argument that spiraled into something serious? Or was the internet completely fooled by a chain of fake leaks, edited posts, and viral misinformation that turned a private moment into a global scandal? Because here's what makes this situation even more disturbing. Every hour, a new version of the story appears. One says it was violent. One says it was exaggerated. One says it never even happened the way people think. And Rihanna and A$AP Rocky are still completely silent in the middle of all of it. So, what's the truth? And more importantly, why is the internet so quick to believe the worst version first? Drop your opinion in the comments right now. Do you think Rocky really crossed a line? Or is this just another example of social media turning rumors into reality? And if this story shocked you, you need to be here for what comes next, because the next update in this situation is already being talked about behind the scenes, and it could completely change everything again. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the next part of this story might be even more explosive than this one, and you don't want to miss it.